What made you end up on the streets in the first place?
Ah, I had a spiritual awakening slash psychotic breakdown slash whatever you want to call it.
Same, but is there even a difference?
I don't think there is, no. It just depends what your ego wants to believe about what's going on.
Yeah,
But no, I just everything just all the illusions just disintegrated in front of my eyes after a traumatic experience. Like I was in a relationship with this girl, and it got a bit violent, and it was like, nah, mate, not not a chance. So everything just fell apart. The life that I was building, I ended up living with my dad, um, and it just caused me to reevaluate everything, including how I was treating myself, how I was showing up in the world, what I believed in, or what I was standing for.
yeah,
So, but I started to try and get my life back together.
yeah.
Um, and so, but then I discovered meditation. I was smoking cannabis regularly because the medicine that it is like. So it was really sort of elevating the way that I see life.
Yeah.
Um, Having all these sort of spiritual experiences, which were bringing me closer to the truth of, why we're here or whatever. And so I decided to give everything away. I burnt my passport, I burnt all my photographs. I literally went away. I went to Dorset. I was going to meet up with these people, and I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any money. I was trying to drop out of society.
Yeah.
And I just very quickly ended up on the streets because the reality is that it doesn't work like that, right? God loves a try. You've got to meet the universe halfway somewhere. I was expected to be congratulated for my bravery. It
Yeah.
turns out it was very stupid of me to burn my passport and to just go up but obviously it happened for a reason. So immediately life started to assist me in being safe on the streets. I was in a place called Lymington in Dorset, and it's
I
a
know this
harbour
place.
town. Yeah,
I know
yeah,
this.
a lot of money.
It's near. I know this place near Milford on Sea and New Milton.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
this
So
area.
that's the
Yeah,
most unusual place to be homeless, really, because it's
yeah.
just a well-to-do area with
It
like
is.
yachts and stuff. But there was a man there who was living on the streets, and he's ex-military. So me and him just sort of stuck together and scraped around, got food where we could or whatever. Um, and so, yeah, because I knew some people from Facebook, right? It was like my first experience of meeting people of a like mind, so to speak, who saw the corruption in politics and all this. So I thought that we were gonna like live together because one of the men had an acre of land.
Mhm.
Um, and we just started gathering and doing like wild camping and stuff. So I just thought I'd tag along with them, but it didn't really happen like that. But eventually, sometime later, like some years later, no, I was on the streets at that point for maybe, I don't know, 2 months. And then I ended up meeting a lady who lived in Branscore, and me and Kevin, this ex-military man, were staying in her caravan and doing odd jobs for her.
Yeah.
And then he left because he had an alcohol problem, and I don't, it's I don't blame him for having an alcohol problem because he was in the army.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of course.
But not only was he in the army, he was in charge of a group of men, and he watched them all get blown up in the same explosion.
Wow. That's
So I got to sense darkness, and I also got to understand compassion as well in that experience with him. But then eventually I went back to Birmingham, and I was like very um, regretful, and I just basically came with my cap to the government or just like, please help me again.
mm,
So I ended up having my own flat, but then that eventually I left there, and that brings us up to like as COVID was just
yeah.
about to start, as we were hearing the whispers of what they were going to do, apparently, lockdown or whatever, I was like, right then, I'm gone. I'm not having this. So I went back down to Dorset, and I was going to meet up with some friends who live around London and Berkshire. They were going to come and do some wild camping and we'd just see what happens. But all the transport got cancelled. So they didn't come down to meet me. So I was just chilling in a place called Brockenhurst, a sleepy village, at the
Mm.
side of the road in a tent for a few days. And then eventually I reached out to this man who owned this acre of land and I went there and basically I lived there during, well, I was there, I don't know, I was there for about the whole of springtime, 3 months, but it literally almost killed me.